How many nights have you slept in a bomb shelter in the last week?
Uh, Almost basically every night. I mean, thousands of children that died during the war with Gaza. Didn't want them to die. We This is something that we would never want. But Young Turks is a disgusting, horrible, genocidal name, right? Young Turks were the
I have little desire to listen to people perform.
Anybody who wants to come and say anything about Israel, you know what? You can say it. Say whatever you want. But don't spit out lies like Tucker Carlson does. It just drives me crazy.
This is a politically centered podcast.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy Silver, and this is a politically centered podcast. Coming to us from Beth Shemesh, Israel, is David Weiner. David, without getting into a whole bunch of details and explaining who you are and what your background is, which is somewhat irrelevant for what you're going through right now, tell me what the last 2 weeks have been like for you.
Uh, Say well, everything started. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. It seems like forever, but it was not this Saturday, but the past Saturday. Basically, I'm an Orthodox Jew, so I observe the Sabbath and I don't use the phone, don't use TV or anything like this during the Sabbath on Saturday. Um, and we were just early in the morning, had sirens going off. Um, we didn't pick up the phones or didn't look, and we had no idea what was going on. That whole day we had sirens just going off on and on and on and on and on, just going off over and over again, which means that, I had to take my five little kids, my 9-year-old, 7-year-old, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old, all, and the dog to run to the safe rooms in the bomb shelter, which is on the second floor of our house. And it's yeah, it wasn't comfortable, that's for sure, to say the least, because usually the Sabbath is, a time that we have during the week we can actually spend together. We can go outside and to the parks and have fun and run around. And yeah, we were just, I would go to the synagogue to pray, and you know, we had to run right home. Like I got there 2 minutes later, I had to run home because there was a siren, and so it was just whole craziness going on. Until after that, when we found out, what was actually happening, it's like a very mixed kind of emotions. Um, just because we know that, we know what's going on, and what the goal of the Iranian regime is and was. And so for us, it's kind of mixed emotion. It's something that we accept, the fact that it's something that need to be done, and the consequences of it. But at the same time, it's just very, very scary, a lot scarier than people can imagine. Since then, all of last week, there's they would fire missiles in our towards our direction. Let's say 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the morning. Just sporadically throughout the days. Um, it's very difficult to sleep. Luckily, our kids, basically slept in the bomb shelter. Luckily, our dog knows when a siren goes off. She's usually on the first floor, and we have a gate blocking the stairs. So our dog, since the last time this was going on, our dog kind of realized what she needs to do, and she just jumps over the gate and runs to the bomb shelter on
How
her
how
own.
many how many nights have you slept in a bomb shelter in the last week?
Uh, Almost basically every night. I mean, it's usually around, sometimes it's at 1 a.m. that we move in there, sometimes at 2 a.m. It depends on the day and when they decide to actually fire the missiles over to this area. There's other places that have been like the past, I think, since like until this morning, around 8 in the morning. There was the last time there was a missile fired in this direction in our general area, where there would be a siren that would go off, was Saturday afternoon at around 4. So we had a day of quiet. I got, slept through the night last night without having to go into the bomb shelter. But other people that I work with, um, they were getting the brute force of it yesterday and the day before. I mean, they had like 10, 15 sirens during the day. I know that like
David,
one of the buildings.
Beth Shemesh is is a suburb of Jerusalem, essentially, is it not? And
Yeah, it's about a half-hour drive from Jerusalem, half-hour drive from Tel Aviv, in the middle of the like very surrounded by woods, basically. Uh,
I heard on the news, and you had informed me as well that that was the location where that rocket had taken the bomb shelter had taken a direct impact from one of the Iranian rockets that came in and killed um, 9 people, including three
Nine
teenagers.
people, more than three teenagers. It was three brother and two sisters, and another two kids as well.
How
Under the
close was
age.
that to you?
I mean, we felt it, regardless of how close it was. It's about uh, a 10-minute drive from our house. On, we did have my brother, like my sister-in-law's husband's sister. Her house was destroyed. They happened to be right next to it, where the direct hit was. They were in their bomb shelter, so they were fine, luckily. Uh, their whole house was destroyed. I mean, they lost everything that was in their house. Um, Anybody that saw the pictures, you could see that like, it just was non-existent. There was nothing there. The bomb shelter, it looked like it was a, it looked like it was like a bomb shelter that was just sitting there because everything above it was destroyed totally. I think the span of destruction around there was a radius of like 650 meters. And we felt it all, like we felt our building shake from that. Um, and just to just to make a point, like here in Bet Shemesh, there are no military bases nearby. There's no military infrastructure anywhere nearby. Like it's not like they're aiming at an army base and missed. I mean, just yesterday they hit like a a satellite station that's about 3, 4 minute drive from my house. Um, it's not a military station. It's a company, like a national, international company or something that owns it. Uh, and today it was like literally across the street from my house, like 200 meters from my house. There's two missiles that landed. Uh, I couldn't make it to the bomb shelter. Uh, like we live in a building, so we live on the seventh floor, and I was in my office in the lobby area, and I went when the siren went off. I went to the elevator. It was on the fifth floor, so I had no choice. It would take more than a minute and a half to get there. So I went to the -1 area into a protected area there, and down there, um, like the aftershocks, like blew open the door, and I could just hear like this like cringy whistling sound from shrapnel that's just coming in and hitting different places. There's some friends of mine, their windows were shattered in their house, people that were a little bit closer. Yeah, it's just it's a very, very scary thing. And especially when you have, it's like if it was just myself, it's one thing, but having kids,
You're a dad.
yeah, having kids that like at the nighttime, they don't wake up usually, but during the daytime, when you have to get them to run and I'm talking about, like I said, a 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, and 9-year-old. You have to get them all to run up the stairs and get to the bomb shelter as fast as possible. And we have like a double door there. One's like a regular door, one's like the bomb shelter door. And like you have to remember everything, and you're trying to, there's just so many things to think about, and it's just it's maddening. It's the ah, yeah, it's just
Da-
crazy.
David, um, it's important to me for people here to understand watching this that this may be in the Middle East while we're sitting here in Canada or in the United States, but where were you born?
I was born in New Jersey. I moved here, was 18 years ago. So I was 27 when I moved here. I grew up in New Jersey, New Hampshire, in the Tampa Bay area in Florida. I went to high school at Dunedin High, with the governor of Florida, actually. He was there. He was 2 years above me. And then I went to University of Florida. I got there a bachelor's and master's in aerospace engineering. And then I moved out to California, San Diego, for work. I worked there for a couple of years, and then after that, I moved here. Um, it was I moved here because it was a place that always called me from a spiritual perspective, from a religious perspective. I just felt it was the place that it was just felt like home to me. Like it felt like it was calling me all the time. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Um, I live a normal life. I work. My kids go to school. Interact with everybody. It's yeah, just a normal life. I think, especially the city that I am in, other than the different languages that you hear more often, let's say, you wouldn't be able to tell any difference between here and another place in America, basically.
How has this differed for you from the last time there was a conflict? I mean, I know the catchy phrase, the 12-day war, it wasn't really a war. It was much different than it is
First,
now. Um, Even from the outside looking in, watching the coverage and watching everything, it's so radically different. If anybody thinks this is just the same thing over again, then they're not watching close enough because this is not a skirmish. This is a war. And it's very, very intense and very frightening what's going on right now from our perspective over here. How does it differ for you from the last 12-day conflict?
I think the biggest difference is we know it'll probably last longer. Um, I mean, they were firing a lot more missiles at the same time last time. I think because they lacked sophistication that's kind of built on live combat. So they didn't know exactly how to hit the right places, I would say. I mean, they did do some really large destruction. They destroyed one of the biggest cancer research places at the Weizmann Institute in the world. They totally destroyed it. I think it was like a $20 million building that was donated by a family from Florida. Um, they knocked out, I mean, almost probably like 50-60% of the buildings in the Tel Aviv area, the skyscrapers, their windows were knocked out during the last time. So I think that the damage just wasn't as reported as much because it was very like it just wasn't a concern. I think people were tying it more to the whole war with Hamas and kind of didn't have any sort of sympathy anymore for people living in Israel because of all the kind of lies that were being put out there by all kinds of people in the media and not in the media, all these protests, trying to pin Israel as the bad guy and trying to say that we're just trying to take over Gaza and we want to kill everybody there. And, you know, Trump came in, we have peace, and all of a sudden we're not killing people there. We never wanted to. And I think there was a huge misinterpretation or on purpose. And now I think this is a better. it's a much different picture going out in the media because, first of all, we're not the only ones being attacked. Dubai, for instance, has been taking much harder hits than us.
Yes, I've
They,
seen that.
they because they don't have the defensive systems that we have. They don't have bomb shelters in every house, or at least in the newer houses. They don't have, community bomb shelters anywhere in these Arab countries, or whether it's Saudi Arabia that the U.S. embassy got hit there, whether it's in Dubai, whether it's in Turkey, which Turkey is a NATO country. They had two or three missiles fired into Turkey already, and NATO is doing nothing, which is just insane. Like, how in the world can't they see? Can't they see? Like, you have a country firing into a NATO country. What's Russia thinking? What's China thinking? If they're going to fire into one of these NATO countries, then nobody's going to do anything. Just because Turkey might hate Israel, like, did that mean that they also hate America? There was six American soldiers that were killed on attack on one of the bases that America has in the Middle East. Like,
A seventh soldier just died yesterday.
seventh one died.
Yeah, from the
It's
same
just
attack. He
awful.
succumbed to his injuries. Yeah,
You
yeah.
see, and that's the thing. We sacrificed close to 1,000 soldiers that died trying to rescue our hostages. Nobody had sympathy for that. And right now, I don't even know if anybody's having sympathy when they're not targeting military bases. There hasn't been a single military base hit in Israel, not in the 12-day war, not in the whole war against Hamas, not in the 20 years before that Hamas fired thousands, tens of thousands of missiles into Israel. Not a single army base has been hit until today. It's always been civilian populations. Today there was in Bet Shemesh, there was in Netanya. Netanya, it's on the coast. There's nothing there. There's not even a port there. There's no infrastructure there even. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy that people don't realize who we're actually dealing with here. America and Israel have been attacking military infrastructure. They've been attacking missile launchers, the bases, the actual regime that is causing all these problems. Uh, It just it's just crazy, the lack of empathy, the lack of understanding, and some of the just pure out and anti-Semitism. Like, it's not everybody. I don't think it's even close to everybody, but you do have people that have huge, huge followings that are just coming out and just saying the most anti-Semitic things in the world.
The
And it hurt.
Iranians just appointed a new supreme leader, did they not? They appointed you'll have to forgive me, I do not remember their names at the moment. I looked it up before our interview, but they elude me
Yeah,
at the moment. But they just appointed his son, did they not? Who is just as
Khomeini.
dead set.
Well,
Khomeini.
he's more radical, they say. So it's like,
That's great.
yeah,
For anybody watching, I mean, I know we live in a society where everybody has to take sides, but that doesn't mean you have to be okay with death on either side, or you can still have compassion. And you don't have to, say things online like, good, they deserve this, and this is what they asked for. And I mean, the civilians and the children never asked for any of this. And, it's so sad seeing people make some of those comments. They really bother me. And it bothers me equally on both sides when I see people make comments about the children in Gaza dying. It's just it's not okay. And I am so beyond blame at this point, but I do acknowledge, just for the record, one thing that is very, very clear, and putting aside Gaza completely, and the fact that they have fired tens and thousands of rockets at Israel since 2015. I'm fully aware of that. The if you comparing the direct amount of rockets that Hamas has fired at Israel compared to how many rockets or military, whatever have come back, they far exceed the amount of hostile actions. They have gone way and above where what is acceptable attacking Israel. I think most people, I think reasonable people would say, I mean, October 7th was an atrocity. It was disgusting. It should have never happened. There was tens and thousands of rockets fired into Israel years before that, and they weren't just killing Jews, they were killing Arabic and Muslim people living in Israel as well. I saw reports coming out. So they were even killing some of the Palestinians living in Israel who just happened to be in the path of the rockets they were firing. But I want to quote the former supreme leader of Iran who said that the United States is the big devil and Israel is the little devil. And regardless, of who attacked who right now, it's come down to them or us. And I'm beyond blaming whichever side because God knows every country has committed some atrocity. Every country. There's no truly innocent country anywhere in the world that hasn't done something horrible at some point. But this country, Iran, is out to destroy all of us. They've made that very clear. They've said it. They've published it. They've shown everybody and they've bragged about it. So how on earth can anybody sit back and be okay with that? I mean, maybe somebody will leave a comment below and explain that to me. That was a really long rant on my part, and that was a lot of thoughts coming out all at once. What do you have to say?
Look, this is the exact thing that's kind of is crazy. Like, just as you know, looking from here and I see what's going on in the US, I pay attention to the news. And less in Canada probably, but I'm guessing it's either the same or worse. Um, yeah, it's like I think there was God Sal God. I think he said it precisely right. It's sympathetic, suicidal empathy. It's you're having empathy for people that literally want to kill you. They don't care whether you're Muslim or you're Jewish. Yeah, they really, really, really despise the Jews. It's part of their religion. It's part of Mondani's religion in New York. That's actually they consider us filth. Like they literally won't eat food that a Jewish person touches. It's like it's a sickness, and I don't get it. I
Well,
don't.
and just to be clear for our viewers, there's a lot of different kinds of Muslims,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The Iranian people are primarily Persian by heritage, which is
correct.
completely
Not
different.
Ayatollahs, not the Ayatollahs. The
Right. They're
Ayatollahs are
they're
not
they're
Persian.
different than Arabic by definition.
Yes, the
And
Ayatollahs are actually Arabs. They're not Persian. Um, which they basically came and took over the country from
right,
the Persians, and
because many of the Persians are Christian, are they not?
well, they used to be. They're probably not there anymore. Um,
Yeah.
they were probably
Most of them
killed.
are in Canada. Actually, I know
Yeah.
quite a few
Canada
per
or LA.
yeah, I know quite a few I've met quite a few in just in the last year here that will say I'm Persian and I say, "Oh, you're from Iran." And they go, "Well, I'm from Persia." And I understand when they say that yes, they're from the country that
It
is now
wasn't.
called
Yeah,
Iran, but they don't recognize Iran because they feel like their country's been taken from them. And for God's sake, this regime murdered what, 30, 50,000 people of its own citizens. Like
just
why?
last month,
Yeah, just last
and
month.
and
Like
people
it's
still
just
can't.
shocking.
I bet you if you go onto a campus anywhere in the Canada or in the US and you ask students on campus, they won't give you a straight answer who's worse, whether America or Canada is worse than Iran. They won't give you a straight answer.
No.
I'm sure about it. I'm positive about it. It's just it's insane. That's the whole thing. Like two things can be right at the same time. Is it horrible? Horrible that there was like thousands of children that died during the war with Gaza? 100%. It was a horrible thing. We didn't want them to die. We It's something that we would never want, but it was something that had to be done, not to kill them, but we had to go in there and get our hostages back. We had to put Hamas to their knees. And even till today, we see that Hamas is refusing to giving up their weapons. And there's no fighting going on. We're not, well, they are. They're coming in and just keep trying to attack us. And our soldiers still get hurt in Gaza. But there's no open war that's declared with them right now. And nobody gets it. Nobody understands that, like, right now, yeah, Hezbollah is firing missiles at us, right? Why are they also firing missiles at us? Yeah, everybody wants to say,
And
I
the
heard that,
Houthis,
and the Houthis right now haven't fired anything right now. I think they're,
not this time.
yeah, but like you have people like this psycho Cenk, I forget his last name, but he's just,
Oh,
I'm
the young,
predicting.
you're talking about the Young Turks, Sheikh Uyghur.
Yeah, even just the name of the Young Turks is a disgusting, horrible, genocidal name, right? Young Turks were the people that went in and killed millions and millions of Armenians, right? Which is just a sick, sick thing. So you have him coming on different places like Pierce Morgan and all these kind of places and saying that Israel just wants to take over land. They're going to conquer Gaza. We could conquer Gaza if we wanted to. Did
Yes.
we? We haven't taken over any land in Gaza. We don't have people moving in there. He said
That's
the
what I
same
said.
thing about
That's what I'm
Lebanon. He
sorry
said
to
the same thing
interrupt
about
you,
Syria.
but
Yeah.
that's what I say to people who make that comment. And yes, I
Actions speak louder than words. No, we don't
yeah,
do any actions that actually justify these crazy, nonsensical words. And he probably thinks that we want to try to take over Iran now too. No, we want to free the Iranian people. They've been begging us, and they're running in the streets and like praising Bibi and Trump right now. Like if you
yeah.
watch any
Jake is
videos,
really big on whataboutism. He loves his whataboutism. It drives me crazy, and I actually really used to enjoy the Young Turks, but at this point, if I can't stand listening to him because it almost looks like he's just acting. It really does. He's putting on this dramatic performance, and it's one of the reasons why I can't stand Alex Jones. I have little desire to listen to people perform when it comes to death and destruction. It's not honest anymore, what he's doing. And I completely agree. Some of his comments are disgusting, and I know the history behind the Young Turks, and he disagrees with that. And I just I don't know. I don't know what goes through his head. I see him on Pierce Morgan sometimes, and he goes on these huge tirades and he screams and yells and throws his hands in the air, and it's all this big Hollywood production for him. I mean, thank God he didn't get elected to president.
yeah, I mean, but you also have people like, some of you used to be a very, I don't know if they call it mainstream, but he was definitely in one of the top, channels in America, Fox News, Tucker Carlson. I mean, he was here the week, like the week that the war started. Yeah. Like he was here interviewing, or he put out the interview with Ambassador Mike Huckabee, and he was just like, I mean, he was twisting things, he was turning things, he was insulting. It was just so ridiculous, trying to say that the Israeli government was trying to kill him. Are you serious? Like, I mean, everybody in the world has seen what we could do when we want to do something. We got rid of Nasrallah from Hezbollah. We got rid of Khamenei now. Like it was us that bombed Khamenei. It wasn't the U.S. We can get rid of the people that we like see as big threats. Like why in the world, he sits there to millions of his viewers telling him that he was afraid that Israel was going to shoot down his plane. He was afraid to go from the airport to Jerusalem to meet Mike Huckabee in the U.S. Embassy. Like it's just so these people are just so insane. Like they just have no clue. I think what he was afraid of was to actually see what Israel actually is. Like if you actually anybody that comes to Israel, you won't see people that look like myself or you. You'll see people of every single possible thing that you can imagine in the world. Every single like ethnic group that you can think of is here in Israel. So it's just so I just don't know how to even express it. Like
It's multicultural.
it's a single culture
It's a single culture that is made up of other cultures, though, right? I mean, you
of
have
other
people from every other
ethnicity
country.
from yeah, it's a single culture, but it's all the same feeling, I guess. I
Yes.
wouldn't say like we're one. We don't have this divide of, whether you have like a black color skin or you have, white color skin or whether you have this or that. We don't have that divide here. We see each other as everybody as equals. We don't have a divide between men and women. We see each other as equals. It's totally different than what people try to paint it. They try to paint us as like even the most anti-Semitic thing that you could even say, that in order for us to be able to say that this land belongs to us is to go and get DNA testing. That's what Tucker Carlson said, that we need to
I've heard
go
that
get.
from people here, actually, that Ashkenazi Jews aren't really Jews. I'm like,
So if
I
you
don't
actually,
even
there's
engage them in
research in it. There's
conversation.
huge, huge research in it that
Yeah.
traces all, all Western Europe Jews back like over 1,000 something years, and they trace it down to 350 people. Every single Ashkenazi Jew in the world comes from 350 people. It is like you can look it up. Go and look it up, please. And Sephardi Jews are even more, even have a larger of the, gene pool. You look at Kohen, like the priests in Judaism. Anybody who wants to come and say anything about Israel, you know what? You could say it. Say whatever you want, but don't spit out lies like Tucker Carlson does. It just drives me crazy. And Cenk sitting here and all his predictions and this is what Israel's really doing and all these people. No, we just want to live in peace. All we
And
want,
what is the other lady's name? Her name eludes me at the moment. The
Candace
one
Owens.
who's like, that Charlie Kirk was was working with the Mossad, or hated Israel or something like that. I can't even remember. She's off on a conspiracy tirade 24/7
Yeah,
lately.
Candace Owens. She's not even
Candace
worth,
Owens, thank you.
not even
Holy
worth
cow.
talking. She's not even worth talking about anymore. I mean, you just have to go. If you go and look up, a guy named Tuvia Singer, he's a rabbi, and he explains it beautifully of what happened with Candace Owens. I mean, there happens to be people like this in the world that are just I mean, I remember I saw something with her where she held up a book about the Talmud, okay, which is the Babylonian Talmud or Gemara, however you want to refer to it. This is something that I learn on a daily basis. In order for me to actually complete the entire thing, took me 7.5 years of learning every single day. And she wants to go hold up a single tiny book of like 100 pages and tell me that this book knows exactly what's in the Gemara and how horrible of people we are and this and that all
I think
uh
we have a pretty good picture of why Ben Shapiro fired her.
yeah, I
Um,
might have to leave because we just got a warning that there might be just letting you know, like we just got a warning. um
are you allowed to show that to me on the screen?
I can show you the warning,
What does it
yeah.
look like so everybody can see? It's probably like an emergency alert like we get here, similar.
It's like a early. uh, I don't think you can see it because of my background.
That's okay. You want to read it to me?
There you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Basically, it shows all the areas that are having, it says like, home front command, early warning, and then it says the areas.
So you
Um,
literally have an app that tells you when missiles are coming in.
when they've been fired from Iran, which
Wow.
usually gets between 5 to 10 minutes before it
All
gets
right.
into the area.
Then
And
I'm
then I
gonna
get a
wrap this
siren.
up.
I can wait. I'll get a siren like if with a 1.5 minute warning. This is because it's a ballistic missile. We don't know exactly where it's going to go.
Right, because it goes into the low Earth atmosphere.
Stratosphere,
Right.
yeah.
Um,
So we don't know exactly, but about a minute and a half before we know. So
where,
we have some
a
time.
whole 90 seconds. Where are your kids right now?
Uh, they're probably, with my wife, probably either taking a bath or eating dinner, and one of our kids is at her friend's house. Um, at a birthday party. She's the only friend there. So,
Oh, David, I'm gonna close up this interview just in case. Although ending the interview on a missile siren or whatever they're called is, yeah, not how I want to end this interview. What are your closing thoughts? Like I don't even know. Um, to try and convey. I know I keep saying this, and I don't know if anybody can really understand what it is like to be in your shoes unless they have been there. But what goes through your head every day?
I think the biggest thing for me is really like, I really wish people in the world would stop playing politics with other people's lives. Like, this is not about politics. This is not about like he said, she said. This is not about it's not about this nonsense. Okay? Like I could give you a million reasons why everybody should support Israel. I can give you, just from any direction, I can give you so many different reasons. But it's not about whether you support Israel, whether you support not. It's about people. It's about people. You want to have peace, you have to look at who are the actual people that are causing the problems in the world. It's not us. Like we haven't started a single war in our whole entire existence. We never started a single war. It's always been started against us. Since 1948, the War of Independence, when every Arab country around in this area, from Jordan to Egypt, everybody declared war on us. It's about people. And if everybody listening to this can't understand what's actually going on in the world, then you got to rethink it. I don't care if it's only 20% of Muslims in the world that are problematic. That is 200 to 300 million people. There's a problem here. And it's in the US. You have attacks in the US all the time. They just tried to attack, to throw a bomb at Mamdani's mansion in New York. You have it in Canada, you have these attacks. You have it in India. I have huge amounts of people that I work with in India, and they are scared shitless to say anything to anybody except to Israelis because we're the only ones that know how they feel. Because they get attacked in their country all the time. They have train bombings, they have bombings in the city. They even attack synagogues in Mumbai, where they killed an entire family, except I think he was 8 years old at the time. He was the only survivor of the family, right? They don't care. They have one mission, and it is to take over everything. They're doing it in Europe. They're doing it in England. They're doing it, they're raping girls in England that are not Muslim on purpose. These are Pakistani Muslims who England refused to refer to them as that and referred to them instead as Asian. Now, who in the world thinks when somebody says Asian, thinks of Pakistan or thinks of Muslims? Stop being scared of saying the truth. Like, just get the truth out there. Say who's actually doing things. 9/11 was done by Muslims. I don't care. You can say Al Qaeda, but they were Muslims. They were Muslims that want to destroy the West. This is what's going on. And that is the message that needs to be put out there because these people will destroy everything if they can. Now, everybody think, oh yeah, Trump said that they destroyed the nuclear stuff in Iran. Yeah, we did, but they hid all the nuclear waste, or not waste, the nuclear material that was enriched to 60%. And there's experts even finally the international, what is it called? The International Atomic Energy, whatever, that was supposed to be inspecting these places and keeping them in check in Iran. Finally, they came out today and said that no, Iran has the material to make nuclear bombs. They have I think it was 465 kilos of nuclear material that can be used to make nuclear bombs. Open your minds and eyes. Like, this is what they want to do. They don't want it for electricity. Trump offered it to them that the US would give them nuclear energy, that would give them the materials needed for the nuclear facilities. They refused it because they don't want that. They want to kill you. They want to kill me. They want to kill everybody that doesn't bow down to who they are and what they believe. Just look at the soccer team in Australia right now, right? 5 of them asked for asylum. Now the rest of them are scared shitless to go home to Iran because they know they'll be hung in the streets. They don't care if you're Muslim. I have friends here in Israel that are Jewish that moved here from Iran. One of them's a woman. She had to go to school since the age of 8 years old because that's like the lowest marriable age according to Islam. And according to in Iran, you can get married to somebody as soon as they get their period. She had to wear a hijab, the head covering. She had to cover her hair since she was 8 years old, and she's Jewish. And she would go to a Jewish school there, but she had to cover her hair because it was illegal for somebody who could technically be married off. It's crazy, but this is what's going on. You think here in Israel that we force people to wear a yarmulke on their head when they're walking around the streets of Tel Aviv? We force people to wear long sleeve shirts or long skirts, or we force women to not leave their house unless their husband says they can? We don't do that kind of garbage here. We don't do that kind of garbage in the US, except in very, very small areas in the US that the US has allowed people to creep into and take over the areas. Like, it's just insane that people can't open their eyes. Is that all Muslims? No, it's not all Muslims. But even if it's 5%, 20% is like 200, 300 million. Drop that to 5%. It's still huge. It's millions and millions and millions of people who will continue to do whatever they can to destroy everything.
David, thank you.
People get it in their
Um,
mind, this will continue. It'll continue until people get this message in their mind. Al Qaeda was nothing. It was nothing. Do we have Muslim Arab countries in this area that want to be our friends and they want to work with us and they don't want that craziness? Yeah, absolutely. We do. But just like they need to wipe out who is causing these problems, we need to take care of it as well. And the reason why, would you expect us to have a coalition with Israel, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, all these Muslim countries? Nobody would have ever
The
expected that.
Abraham Accords.
No, they're not part of the Abraham Accords. The
They're not.
coalition right now with the war against Iran. You have Saudi Arabia, you have Jordan, you have Syria. Syria was taken over by some ISIS guy is like against them. It's insanity. Everybody realizes how crazy this regime is in Iran, but yet people still want to, wash it over as if it's okay.
The Crown
People,
Prince of Saudi Arabia already had said, I believe a year and a half ago, that if Iran was allowed to develop nuclear missiles, he would arm Saudi Arabia accordingly to protect his country. When you have a dozen Arab nations all joining in with the country that they claim to hate to destroy another country, it's a pretty clear indicator that that country is a massive threat. So I would encourage anybody to do their homework before they take the Iranian regime side, and I say the regime because nobody blames the people, the innocent people. It's the regime that's the problem, and that's very clear. And I personally do not like Donald Trump. I cannot stand the man. That doesn't mean I disagree with every decision he makes, and I completely 100% support what's going on right now. And I will say that right out. I didn't like the what happened with Gaza. I sure as hell didn't like what Gaza did to Israel on October 7th. I thought that what Israel did to Gaza was was it needed? Maybe. I don't know. People who are much more important and smarter than me make that decision, but it broke my heart to see what was happening over there. But
It breaks
what
everybody's heart to see somebody die. Nobody wants to
yes.
see anybody die. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say nobody, but most people, the normal people, do not want to see people die. You don't want to see people die. But this idiot Tucker Carlson attacked Mike Huckabee because Mike Huckabee said Hamas is arming 14-year-old kids. So yeah, the 14-year-old kid gets killed. And then he told him, "Oh, you want 14-year-old kids to be killed? You want no." But what do you want? You want a soldier to sit there and take a gunshot from a 14-year-old kid and die just because he's a 14-year-old kid? You have a 14-year-old kid walk into a school in Canada and start shooting people. What are you going to do? You're going to just let him walk around shooting people, or are you going to kill that 14-year-old kid? You're going to kill that 14-year-old kid because you want him to stop killing other people because he has guns on him, right? How many school shooters have been killed in America? They were under the age of 18. Every single one of them. Either they killed themselves or they were killed by the police. Every single one of them. So what is this nonsense about all of a sudden somebody in Gaza who's 14, 15, 12 years old, 11 years old, 18 years old being armed by Hamas, whether it's with a gun, whether it's with a suicide vest that they've done before, or whether they're going around stabbing people on the light rail in Jerusalem. What is the difference between a person that goes and stabs somebody in the back trying to kill them that's a teenager? I have somebody that's a neighbor of mine. I wrote actually published a song about it called Jerusalem Soldier. You can find it on YouTube. She was killed by a teenager in Jerusalem because she was protecting everybody. She was part of the border police. She was protecting everybody in the old city of Jerusalem, right? And a teenage Muslim Palestinian came and stabbed her to death. This was an American. They moved here in order to protect people, and she was stabbed to death. This was a cousin of a friend of mine that lives next to me. Okay? Now, she was not there harming anybody. She was protecting Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, everybody. Everybody. She wasn't there hurting anybody. But yet this kid, this under 18 kid came and killed her. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to put him in prison, or you're supposed to just let him go? Now, you have women that come in and dress as if they're pregnant while they have while the actual like thing that looks like a baby is actually a suicide bomb. What are you supposed to do with that person if they misexplode? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to, just because she's a woman, you're supposed to just let her go? Or even if it's like a 15-year-old girl, you're supposed to let her go when she was carrying a suicide vest trying to kill herself and kill many people along with it? I have a friend from University of Florida. He moved here right after he graduated. You know why he moved here? Because his cousin was about to get married, and she was sitting in a cafe in Jerusalem with his uncle, with her father. She was sitting in the cafe with her father the day before her wedding, and somebody came in and exploded themselves and killed everybody there. And that's when he decided that he was going to move to Israel. So, people can think what they want to think about us, The reason why we're here is because we know we're stopping the rest of the world from being destroyed. We know that the only thing preventing from everything else going down is us being here. So you guys, instead of people criticizing us, should be saying thank you to us. Just like we say thank you to the US for supporting us, thank you for all the other countries who give us support. Everybody should be thanking us for actually preventing this garbage from coming over to you guys, because that's what would happen.